Alright, I'm going to try to show you guys how to make Fabio Wardley on Fight Night Champion with create a character feature. So first you go to Boxer Share, you go to create Boxer, you got to make sure you actually have a slot available. Use a template head. Now, I think template head number 5 is the one that fits him the most in terms of his appearance. So you go ahead and click template head number 5. So we got the first name Fabio. And now if you want to be lazy and I think they got the name Ward on there. Yeah, if you just want to be lazy and say Ward so that the game actually announces his name, kind of, then you can say that. Nickname, I guess it's not a big deal. He's kind of like a bulldog, I guess. I know he's British. I'm not about to look up the exact town. I'm going to just put London. Ring interest music. I guess he could have the British national anthem since that's where he's from. He was kind of a focused guy, pretty serious. But anyway, that's all kind of irrelevant. I wouldn't say he's a big man. I mean, he was like bigger than average, maybe muscular, thick, ripped. But he's tall. He's tall and athletic. I would say probably around. Yeah, I know he was 6'5". I remember, and he was about 242 when he beat Parker. Reach about 78. He's kind of tan. I don't know if he's like biracial or what, but I would say probably skin tone number 6 is about right. You want to go to shaved head. Where is that at? Shaved head. Yeah, he had like a low buzz cut kind of thing, really thin hair. His eyebrows are slightly thick. You can either go with number 1 or, let me see. No. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. Probably eyebrows number 9. Doesn't really have any facial hair. And then tattoos, I know he's got some on his chest. Looks like I can't tell exactly what this pattern is. He's got like a flower or something on the left. Hold up. Left chest. It's hard to make out exactly what it is. But yeah, it's something like a flower type thing. Some of these tattoos are absolutely horrible. I don't know what they were thinking. You could go with something like that. It's pretty detailed too. And then on the right chest, he also had this really detailed thing on there. Doesn't gotta be perfect, as long as we get his general appearance. Then he had like something on his right arm. His right arm was some words, some details on there. Again, the options are kind of terrible, but it is what it is. It's kind of an older game. Let's just go with tattoo number 28. Next we got his gloves. He had on blue gloves in that fight, blue and white. So we could just keep the Grant ones because I didn't really see the brand that he had in the Parker fight. I like to pick, sorry about that. I like to pick the gloves and outfit that matches like their best fight or whatever. So it's like a darker blue, something like, well, it wasn't that dark. It was like medium blue, something around there. Okay. Then he had his shorts. He had on like the frizzy gladiator type thing. I believe you can find that in EA Sports. I don't got everything unlocked. Wasn't no leopard print. It was more like where is it at? Dang, I don't even have that unlocked. It would have been like this one. Where's the chainmail one? You can compensate and get him one of these, unless you want to go with, if you do got everything unlocked. This account, I had to keep multiple occasions. I lost a lot of data, but yeah. Anyway, his outfit is primarily blue and white, so you can make the waistband closer to white, right? If you want to be nitpicky, you can give him. I think his file protector might have been black, something like that. Okay. Next, he had on some really long socks, so you want to go with long socks and then make the black trim white. I think he had Nike socks, but obviously I can't add Nike socks in there. And then, all right, so video got cut off. I'm just putting his name on the back of the robe. Put it in white so it's at least a little bit visible. Mouth guard. Give him a gray mouth guard. I don't remember exactly what kind of mouth guard he had. But you want to try to be at least somewhat thematically consistent. Alright, so now the fun part. Now, this guy is definitely a brawler. He was eating some serious shots in there with Parker. This dude was out for blood. He's got a good chin. He's got power. His style wasn't a high rise. I want to say, nah. He was a little, yeah. So with hyper, he's got head movement and stamina, but he wasn't really moving his head all that much. Peekaboo. I mean, he's got decent speed. Maybe you could say a wild bro. Yeah, you could say wild. He had a Philly. Wasn't really a Philly shell. That's just how his hands were positioned. He is not a defensive wizard by any means. But yeah, you could mess around with different styles, but you can go with wild or you can go with smooth for the foot movement. You could also go with you could go with easy Philly shell. Punching style, nah, it wasn't. You can go with threw a lot of dangerous hooks, so either Roy Jones or Frazier. That would be my say. Yeah, Frazier or Roy Jones. Yeah, tendencies, if you care about this stuff, you can bring body punches down a little bit more. He was fairly aggressive, but he was also kind of smart in there. He wasn't like just completely going balls to the wall crazy. Combinations, you could bring that down. He wasn't really he was only a combination puncher when he had Parker hurt. That's what I noticed. You could leave that alone. Inside fighter, he was a little bit more in the mid-range, but he was definitely a brawler. He was close range brawler. Clinching, you could leave that alone. I think he was a slight plotter. Yeah. These, again, this is only if you care about, if you want to fight Wardley with your character, so he doesn't burn himself out. I'll bring some of this stuff down a little bit. But he threw a lot of hooks upstairs. And he also jabbed a lot to the body, which was smart. Because that's how he managed to drain Parker's stamina. So actually I'm going to bring the jabs up a little bit. Yeah, that was... Now, if you're... keep in mind, if you say the character has... tendency to throw a lot of hooks, that's probably going to apply to the body shots as well as to the head. Speaking of head movement, it wasn't particularly great. Maybe like an 11 or a 10, honestly. Parker was nailing him, and he was behind. He had a heck of a chin. I'll give him an 18 for chin. Heart. Didn't really get hurt to the body that much. So, yeah, he had a pretty decent chin. Good cracking power. Go ahead and save that. And then strength. Pretty strong dude. Not a devastating hitter. So I'm going to say like 89. He had decent speed. He was active throughout the whole fight. He had decent stamina. Conditioning could probably use a little bit of work. We'll bring that down a little bit. Fairly tough guy, but I wouldn't say like super iron chin. His reflexes, in terms of bringing his guard up, that needs to. He's going to have to work on that if he wants to really be world class. And there you have it. That's how you make Wardley.